Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's LT. It's a little dark outside because it's 6 in the morning and we are headed to go look at another project truck. Now, we don't really have room for a project truck because we've got at the house the AT4, which we're driving right now. We've got the Suburban, which you guys just saw an update video on. We have the ugly truck, the Turbo 8.1 extended cab Silverado. We've got the wife's car, and we've got a customer project in the shop, F-150 at the moment. I have to store my trailer at a storage lot because I don't have enough space at the house. But still, we're going to go look at another project truck because it's one of those deals where you just can't pass it up and you'll regret it if you don't jump on it. Now, luckily, my wife's really cool about this stuff, even though we're kind of running out of space. She really supports this channel and this habit of mine of picking up stray trucks because it's kind of like, I suppose when some people go see a dog, they just have to take it home because they fall in love. Kind of the same thing with me and trucks. I just want to save them all and take them all home. So how we found this one, there's this place kind of near our house. It's got like a kids trampoline park play area type thing. We've gone there a couple times over the last couple months, and it's in one of those like industrial warehouse complex type things. Now, in the very next door lot to the playhouse, there is a plumbing supply store, and this truck was sitting out front pretty much unmoved. It had a flat tire. It was just sitting there. So I called him up yesterday. I said, hey, what's the story with that pickup outside? You know, I noticed it's been sitting there for a long time, hasn't moved. And luckily, the owner picked up the phone, and he's like, yeah, it's my truck. I bought it for a project. I decided to change my mind on it. I'm not going to use it anymore. So it would be for sale. And he told me to come meet him the next morning, and here we are. I'll show you guys what the truck is in just a second, but the price is right. It's a really cool truck. I've never owned one exactly like this before, so we're going to take advantage of it and go truck shopping. Enjoy. All right, so it's a couple hours later. It did take us a little while to actually get the truck started up. First, we had to find a jump pack because the battery was totally dead. And then it was a little bit of an ordeal just to try to find the keys for the thing. The guy's got a million keys. But we eventually found the keys, got the jump pack on, got the battery charged up. It started up. It did take a minute to get it running just because it had been sitting for so long. The computer must have lost its mind or something. But eventually, after cranking it, it fired up and it ran pretty good. I took it for a short drive around the block. Two things I noticed right away. Number one, it's stuck in tow haul mode, which I think maybe has to do with the shifter the wires on the shifter being messed up, kind of like they were on my ugly truck. And then the second thing, it does bog a little bit at wide open throttle. Like when you floorboard it, it just kind of sputters and spits like maybe like there's a mouse nest under the air filter and it's just kind of like clogged up and not getting enough air. That's kind of what it feels like anyway. But we're on the way right now to get the trailer. He's looking for the title, and I think we're going to make this deal happen. So we've got another project truck on the channel. So drop your comment down below about what you think the name should be for this one, and more importantly, what we should actually do with it. All right, guys, it's actually the next day. It took us a little bit to find the title, but we have secured the truck. It is now ours, so we got one more early 2000s Chevy project truck for the channel. Specifics on this one: it is a 2000, exactly like the ugly truck, and it's also onyx black, same color. It's a single cab short box, clearly. This one is a step side, which is kind of cool. I know step sides in this era are kind of a love it or hate it thing. Automatic, 4-wheel drive, and this one is powered by a 4.8. Originally we were thinking it was a 5.3, but we found the window tag, checked the RPO codes. It's actually a 4.8, but that's not a huge deal. I don't know what we're going to be doing with this one yet. I mean, I've got a ton of ideas already, but subscribe to the channel, stick around, and we'll find out. So what I got to do right now is we'll get this thing loaded up. I do need to grab a battery because the one in here is completely flat. It won't hold a charge at all, so as soon as I shut the thing off, it's going to die. So we'll go to the parts store, get a battery, get it home, get it cleaned up, and then maybe see if we can take it on a test drive. All right, we got a fresh battery in it. We've got it unloaded, but we're not going to be able to take a test drive on the truck right now. We'll get to that in a second, but basically let's just kind of get an overview of this truck and see what we're dealing with. It's a 2000 single cab short box 4-wheel drive, 4.8, 4L60, 373 gears front and back, being 4-wheel drive. Step side, definitely a love it or hate it thing, but I don't know, it's kind of growing on me. My buddy Andrew had one in high school and his was pretty cool, and I don't know, like I said, it's kind of growing on me. It does have the hard fiberglass tonneau cover back there. That's a cool added bonus. The paint's definitely faded on that, but I mean, the roof is as well, and then the hood. My Suburban's doing the same exact thing, actually. Like, the paint is just, I don't know if this was a repaint or original, but it just kind of has that weird, like, cracking checkerboard
And I just kind of figure it's because it spent most of its life out in the sun. It's got a billet grill. We're going to lose that right away. It even had one of those plastic hood guards. I took that off at the car wash just because I couldn't stand it. There's a bunch of leaves and dirt in there. This is the LS package, which means it is kind of nice on the inside. It has power windows, electric seats. It does have the floor console. It doesn't have the jump seat. I don't know if that's original to the truck or if someone added it, but it doesn't look nice. Just 2 seats. You can kind of tell the inside is like really filthy. And actually, I saw this truck first 2 months ago, and the passenger side window was like halfway open. So it had the windows had been open from what I could tell. The owner said he parked it in November. So pretty much since November, this has had the windows open. As you can see, really dusty. We're going to get it detailed out at some point. But yeah, overall pretty nice condition. The paint is in a lot better shape than the ugly truck. There's a lot less dents. It's really straight. Tiny surface rust on the frame, but totally not a big deal at all. I mean, the rockers are solid. The body is pretty much perfect, other than the paint's just kind of faded and cracking, but not a huge deal. I might actually, depending on what direction we go with this, I might swap my ugly truck hood on here just because it's a little bit more consistently faded and it kind of matches the roof a little bit. But we'll get to future plans in just a second. In terms of why we can't go for test drive right now, I think there's something going on with the fuel system. I did clean up the engine. We went to the car wash real quick before we got it home. It did this yesterday when I looked at it. You start it up and it just kind of hesitates. You press the gas and nothing really happens. I'm thinking it's fuel related, and a couple of theories. Either the injectors are clogged and stuck from basically sitting for the last 9 months. Possibly the fuel pump is not producing the pressure it should, or we potentially do have a clogged fuel filter. My gut tells me it is something to do with the fuel system. There's no codes, no check engine light or nothing like that yet. But 4.8, it sounds pretty good when it's sitting there idling, but like I said, the second you give it any throttle, it just kind of falls on its face. But this is what we're working with, guys. And let me know what you think we should do with it, because I got a ton of ideas and I just don't know where to start. So the very first time that I laid eyes on this truck, I just kind of knew in the back of my mind that I was gonna make it mine, and we did that. The first step is done, so now we've got to figure out what the heck are we gonna do with it, because there's a million different ways that we could build this truck. And let me know what you guys think. Give me some ideas, because I'm definitely open to suggestions, but my top 2 ideas, I'll kind of run down them real quick. The very first one that I thought about and tossed around was the idea of swapping the drivetrain from the ugly truck, the Turbo 8.1, into the new stepside. We've got the big block, we've got the turbocharger, it's got a 4L80 transmission, although it is 2-wheel drive. And then we could hook it up to the 4-wheel drive setup and have a big block, turbocharged, short box truck. And I thought that would be kind of cool. The other option in terms of drivetrain would be to keep the LS in there, because you've got that whole rivalry between LS and big block, and everybody loves building LS motors. Although to me, that content isn't necessarily the most original, because everybody does LSs for good reason. They're great motors and you can make good power, but I like doing stuff a little bit different. So that's kind of why I was thinking Turbo 8.1. Now, the other thing is, I actually have a whole nother 8.1 that I'm building. That's going to have all the good forged parts in it. And if I don't blow up the 8.1 that I have in the truck now, I'll potentially have 2 pretty much complete 8.1s. So I could do twin 8.1 trucks. I don't know. Another thing I thought about, regardless of which engine we go with, would be an all-wheel drive conversion. Now, I did this to Project Red Tide at my last job. We took a OBS K1500 Chevy and we swapped in an NV149 case and an all-wheel drive front differential. Fairly direct swap on that particular one. We did have to fabricate a couple of mounts here and there, but on a GMT 800 truck, it is a direct bolt-in if you get the Silverado SS 149 transfer case and a Denali or Escalade or SS front differential that has the one-piece axle shaft on the passenger side. So a couple different ways we could go there. In terms of suspension, I hate to say it, it's probably going to get lowered, and I know some of you guys really hate the idea of lowering a pickup at all, regardless of whether it's 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. And then there's some people who really hate the idea of lowering a 4-wheel drive truck. But it's just one of those things. I've never been a lifted truck kind of guy. I've got the AT4 that's leveled at least, but that's probably for now like the most lifty type thing that I'm gonna do. We mentioned solid axle swapping the Suburban. That's a whole nother conversation. Maybe that'll happen. But for this particular truck, sorry to say it, guys, I think it's definitely gonna get lowered. We'll look for some different wheels. I'll just try to find for now some like 18 or 20 inch stock wheels, just something that looks a little better than the 16s on there now. But before we get to any of that, the first thing we got to do is just get the thing running and put some miles on it. I'll probably start daily driving it here and there. You got to make some space in the driveway for all this stuff to fit. But the good thing about the fuel system is I do have some larger injectors from my 8.1, the stock ones. I think they're like 24 pounds per hour compared to the 19s that are in the 4.8 now. And they're a direct replacement. They have the same connector, the same body size. So I'll probably start out with a fuel system. I might have to put a pump in it, filter, injectors. We'll figure that out in the next upload. But I do want to say thank you guys for watching. Help me out. I've spent a bunch of money on a truck now. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, definitely do that. Click the like button, drop a comment. All that stuff helps the algorithm. And once again, for probably the 5th or 7th time, just let me know what you think of the truck and what you might do to it. That's going to bring this video to a close. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time. I think we're going racing.